We're good now? Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Ask everyone to please rise. For our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
All right, item 1.0, additions to the agenda. Any additions to the agenda? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adopt the agenda. Councillor Bossert, all in favor? That is carried. Item 3.0, corrections or amendments to the July 15th, 2015 regular meeting of council minutes. Any corrections or amendments? Councillor Bossert or anyone else? No? Very good. Take a motion to adopt the July 15th, 2015 regular meeting of council minutes. Councillor Schuler, all in favor? All right. Item 5.0, delegations. We have on the agenda Janelle Russell, who is the winner of the Imagine Drayton Valley contest. And so just for the record, this contest has run the last 2 Canada Days. And members of our council have solicited input from the public on a single question. And the question this year was, what do you consider to be Drayton Valley's biggest challenge? There were a number of very insightful responses. The top 3 or 4 I'll indicate: activities for kids and youth, facilities and amenities, which would probably be related to the first one, culture, recreation and parks, roads and infrastructure, and then we get into housing services, etc. And there are a number of other very good suggestions. The winner was drawn at random, and the winner receives this iPad mini, and on which, by the way, she will be able to download the town app. And her suggestion was that Drayton Valley's biggest challenge, and in a community where transportation is an integral part of the local economy, bringing down the price of gas was her suggestion, and that's not a bad suggestion at all. It is, however, entirely outside of my ability to do that, or our ability to do that, but it is something nonetheless that is important to our community, and I appreciate the insight. So, without further ado, I'm going to present it. Do we have Jen? You got a camera? Okay. Jen's going to take our picture, so I'll invite Janelle, her brother Alex, and Dad up for a picture. You're sporting your Eskimos shirt, so we've got to do that. It's one of the favorite parts about this job, is that I get to present people with recognition. So thank you again, Janelle, for your excellent answer to our question this year and for your participation in the draw. And you and your family are welcome to take in the proceedings for the rest of the morning if you like. You are not obligated to do that. You've already got your prize, so thanks again for coming. Item 6.0 is a proclamation for International Youth Day, and I'll just bring it up here. Whereas the United Nations defines the world's youth as the age group between 15 and 24 years old, making up 1/6 of the human population. And whereas the United Nations established International Youth Day on August 12th each year to recognize efforts and achievements of the world's youth in enhancing global society. And whereas International Youth Day aims to promote ways to engage youth in becoming more actively involved in making positive contributions to their communities. And whereas Drayton Valley is a community of actively involved youth who engage in many areas of interest and in turn help to shape the growth of their community. Now, therefore, I, Glenn McLean, Mayor of the Town of Drayton Valley, do hereby proclaim August 12th, 2015 as International Youth Day in the Town of Drayton Valley. And from there, we have public time, which is a segment of our agenda, item 7.0, which is an opportunity for members of the public to ask questions, provide input into day-to-day operations of the town. Is there anyone who had? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the decision items. Item 8.1, Councillor Bossert, Emergency Management Bylaw.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A need was identified to update the Town of Drayton Valley's exiting emergency management bylaw to provide more detailed direction and control of the Town of Drayton Valley's emergency operations under the Emergency Management Act. The bylaw details the establishment and functions of the Emergency Management Committee and the Emergency Management Agency, as well as the powers designated to these groups. The updated bylaw also sets the groundwork for the development of the Joint Emergency Management Plan. This bylaw has been reviewed by the town's legal counsel and reflects their advice. Therefore, I move that council give first reading to the attached Emergency Management Bylaw 2015-07P.
Thank you, Councillor Bossert. We have a motion before us. Any discussion on this motion? Councillor Wheeler.
I was just wondering if Dennis could explain, on 12.1 it talks about who has the right to declare the local state of emergency. Is it town council or the committee, or both? I just needed clarification.
I'll invite Dennis to come to the mic, and at the same time, if you'd like to give a sort of a synopsis or a quick overview of the bylaw, that might be appropriate as well.
Certainly. Mayor, councillors, administration. Basically, I've been working with our Director of Emergency Services to update and redesign our emergency management bylaws to reflect the new emergency management plan that we've been working on for the past several months. As far as Councillor Wheeler's question goes, I'll answer that first. Basically, the committee consists of the council. And we had this discussion with the lawyer themselves that if the committee deemed that there was a need to pass or declare a state of local emergency, then they could turn themselves into council, seeing as all members of the committee are council, and therefore pass that bylaw at that time. The committee itself, as stated earlier in the bylaw, is essentially all of you folks that are currently sitting on council. Basically, it's just an updated version of our existing bylaw that we had. It's just more detailed as far as the actions that each one is, and the functions that everyone is capable of doing within those committees and agencies.
Anything further? Councillor Bossert?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the committee is only council members. There are not any emergency services personnel on that committee. It's just council itself?
Strictly council.
Okay. That also was my question, because that's all it said, and I thought, that's an interesting committee. There are spelling and grammatical errors, which I'll go over with whomever is necessary to go over. But I did read this through very thoroughly, and it gives me great comfort to know that this bylaw is strong, has teeth, and hopefully we'll never need to employ it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further? Thank you very much for your work on this. I know this has been a project in development for some time, and I couldn't overstate the importance of a proper, orderly system for emergency management in our community. So once again, thank you for your work on this. And with that, we have a motion before us, so I'll ask all in favor. That is carried. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, item 8.2, Councillor Nadeau, request for funding for the Max Centre.
Thank you, Mayor. Following the receipt of a request for funding for $7,200 for the Max Center located within Frank Maddock High School, Wayne Turner attended the June 24, 2015 council meeting to further explain the need for funding from the town. In an effort to revitalize the Max Center, which the town assisted in funding with its original development, the Max Center Performing Arts Society is seeking support from the town as well as Brazeau County. The society is further pursuing grant support of $75,000 through the Community Initiatives Program with the province of Alberta, and the CIP grant requires matching funding, and the society is seeking support from the municipalities. Administration has reviewed the application and supporting documentation and recommends that council at this time deny the request, as town funds for capital undertakings have already been budgeted. However, administration does see value in working with the society to provide non-financial support for potential grant applications. Attached for council's review and consideration is additional information to supplement the request for funding following the tabling of the approval motion from the July 15, 2015 council meeting. Therefore, there are several options in front of me. Council approve funding to the society in the amount requested. Council approve funding to the society in the amount of my discretion. Council tables the decision on the request, noting a meeting date to bring it to future and reasons why to table. Or D, council deny the requested funding of $7,200 or any other amount. First, I have to move to take from the table Resolution 189-15 to approve funding for the Max Center Performing Arts Center in the amount of $7,200.
Thank you for that motion. All in favor of removing the item from the table? All right.
I'll just make the motion. We can have the discussion. I move to approve the funding to the Max Performing Arts Center in the amount of requested of $7,200.
Thank you. We have a motion before us. Any discussion on this motion? Councillor Nadeau.
Sorry, I know I made the motion of $7,200, but I'd like to be clear that I do support arts and culture in the community, and that's one of the reasons I will be motioning for approval. However, I would like to state there is a budget process, and I would prefer to see this happen at our budget consultation and not ad hoc. That has been done in the past. I don't want it to be perceived that we're making an example, because that's not my intent. But I would like to see these come in an orderly fashion during budget consultation through the community, so there isn't $7,200, $7,200, $7,200 throughout the year. That's not the best use of our planning. So that's my comment.
I couldn't agree more. We need to be able to plan for things, even to an extent planning for contingencies such as this. And so in the context of our budget consultations, I would ask administration to turn its mind to creating recommendations as to how we might deal effectively with requests such as this going forward. Nonetheless, we have a motion from Councillor Nadeau. Any further discussion on this motion? Nope, seeing none. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Item 8.3, Councillor Long, bus transfer site agreements.
Thank you. Earlier this year, the town of Drayton Valley entered into negotiations with the Wild Rose School Division with respect to a transfer of school properties to the town, as well as the development and construction of a bus transfer site to serve the greater community. This project required the development of 2 formal agreements recognising the terms and conditions for the construction of the bus transfer site and the lease of that space back to the Wild Rose School Division following the transfer of lands to the town. This initiative will result in the community acquiring lands dedicated to the purpose of a community open space to revitalise the community, as well as to provide a home for the outdoor rink. The proposed community space will provide a unique combination of opportunities for passive and active leisure activities in a central location. By consolidating these lands, the town will create a space for the community which meets the needs not only of the town, but also of the entire community. The town is working diligently to commence site work this year and has received advice to review from legal counsel regarding the attached agreements. Therefore, I move that Council authorise a Mayor and Town Manager to execute the attached sale agreement and lease agreement between the Board of Trustees of the Wild Rose School Division number 66 and the town of Drayton Valley.
Thank you, Councillor Long. We have a motion before us. Any discussion on this motion? Very well. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Item 8.4, Councillor Wheeler, 43rd Avenue connection awarding of tender.
Thank you. The 43rd Avenue Extension tender was advertised at the Drayton Valley Western Review, the Town of Drayton Valley website, Edmonton Construction Association, and Alberta Construction Association. The tender had closed on July 28, 2015. 6 bids were received, and a list of the bids is included. With a bid of $1,246,797.71, Urban Dirtwork is the low and compliant bidder. Urban Dirtwork has a past experience with construction of roadways and municipal utility services and has worked on previous projects with the engineering company in charge of the project. The bidder has the knowledge, expertise, and resources to complete this project. Syneon Engineering recommends the award of 43rd Avenue Extension be awarded to Urban Dirtwork. A letter of recommendation of award from our consultant is also included for Council's review. Therefore, I move that Council award the construction contract for the 43rd Avenue Extension to Urban Dirtwork for the stipulated sum of $1,246,797.71, including GST.
Thank you, Councillor Wheeler. Any discussion on this motion? Councillor Long.
Yeah, just a question, if I may, Mr. Diol. I just noticed that the pre-bid estimate is a fair bit lower than all of the individual bids that came in. Are we seeing increased costs across the board for this kind of thing, or is this just a blip?
The prices are, we thought with the downturn in the economy, the prices will be kind of coming down, but I don't think we're seeing that in this business.
Anything further? Councillor Bossert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm just wondering with the awarding of this bid, what the timelines for completion would be in the connection of 43rd over to the Ring Road.
We are hoping that it finish this year.
When you say this year, you mean October, November, something like that?
We still have time, like we got August, September, October. Usually November 4th, 5th, that's where sometimes, we have paved till November 4th or 5th in this town. So it depends upon how if the fall comes early, but we still have 2.5 months.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so cross our fingers for good weather. All right. Anything further on this? Very well. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Item 8.5, Councillor Schuler, Roger Coles Memorial Youth Sport Grant application.
Thank you. Administration has received an application for the Roger Coles Memorial Youth Sport Grant. The application is applying for funds to assist with costs associated with attending the 2015 Canadian Age Group Championship in Quebec. The event occurred at the end of July, however, the application was received prior to the event. The requested amount is $4,000, which, based on the application, would be offset costs of travel, accommodation, and meals for the athlete and the coach. It should be noted that the Roger Coles Memorial Youth Grant policy and application is designed to assist the athlete in costs associated with competing at Western, national, and international levels. It does not extend to costs that the coach incurs. Administration has checked the eligibility of the athlete and has confirmed that the athlete is of amateur status and is affiliated with Swim Alberta. Excuse me. Administration is recommending that the town provide a grant to cover the costs related to the athlete's participation in the competition. To date, no funds have been distributed through the Roger Coles Memorial Youth Sport Grant for the 2015 calendar year. Therefore, I move the Town Council approve the grant of $1,853.09 for Avery Wiseman to participate in the 2015 Canadian Age Group Championship in Quebec.
Thank you, Councillor Schuler. Any discussion on this motion? Councillor Bossert.
I'm thinking that Roger Coles will be very pleased to sponsor this young lady, and I wish her all success in Quebec. I know that the competition has already begun, so we look forward to an update of her race times and how her how her race went in Quebec. So I wish her the best of luck.
Thank you. Anything further? All right. All in favor? That is carried. And we wish Avery the very best of success in the competition. Item 8.6, Councillor Bossert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor.
Council, having identified that the town needed to have a communication strategy and its brand standard reviewed and redefined, allocated funds in the 2015 budget for the process to be initiated by the Economic Development Committee. An RFP was developed and sent out to 7 prospective brand and communication strategy agencies. 2 proposals were received by the due date, one from Dagny and the other from Cosette. The branding standard and the communication strategy is intended to lay out guidelines and direction for all departments connected with the town and their provision of services to ensure consistency, whether it be in brand standard, products and services we offer, or communication strategy, reinforcing the brand through appropriate and validating content. Brand standards and communication strategy ensures that the services provided by the town are clearly, effectively, and consistently communicated to all stakeholders, both internal and external. This consistency will build brand identity and loyalty in the long term. The 2 proposals were reviewed by the Economic Development Committee and are being presented to Council for review, acceptance, and the awarding of the contract. And I therefore move that the brand standards and communication strategy RFP be awarded to Cosette.
Thank you, Councillor Bossert. Any discussion on this motion? Councillor Nadeau.
Thank you. Myself and Councillor Long have both gone over both of the RFPs, obviously, and we did our presentation to council last week. But I think we're both strong in our recommendation of this group, and we have, having worked with them in the past with our CETC brand as well, that we were quite pleased with. We're just looking forward to moving ahead with the strategy. It is a lengthy process, and it won't be completed until the spring. But in the meantime, there'll be very much going on in the community in terms of engagement with stakeholders and community. So we're looking forward to having the town Drayton Valley residents everybody of all ages participate in that, so we can help kind of redefine, or maybe what we have is great and it just needs to be added. We need that information. We very much need the public's participation on this. So we look forward to that and request that, and more to come on that. But personally, this is something that I've wanted to see for many years, and I'm very, very excited to see it moving ahead. So.
Yeah, I think we're all very encouraged that we've reached this point in the process, and going forward at the conclusion of this exercise, we'll have solidified a key piece in our overall communications approach. So, any further questions, comments on this? All right, all in favor? That is carried. Item 8.7, Councillor Nato, Resiliency Study on Children and Youth.
Thank you, Mayor. In October 2014, a partnership between the Drayton Valley Healthy Community Coalition and the Town of Drayton Valley, Brazeau County, SCSS, Wildrose School Division, and Alberta Health Services brought Dr. Michael Unger to our community to facilitate 2 workshops. One gave parents and caregivers tools to build resilience in children and families, and the other provided service providers, community, and business leaders with strategies to build a community of resilience in Drayton Valley, Brazeau County. Dr. Unger is one of the best-known writers and researchers of the topic of resilience in the world. His work has changed the way the resilience is understood, shifted the focus from individual traits to the interactions between people and their families, schools, workplaces, and communities. As both a family therapist and professor of social work at Dalhousie University, he's helped to identify the most important factors that influence the resilience of children and adults during periods of transition and stress. Dr. Unger intends to further his research on child and youth resilience and is working on a new research project for 2015. The objective of this study is to understand the opportunities as well as the challenges children and youth may have growing up in resource-based communities. His focus would be to teach those communities how to build upon the positive outcomes for children and youth, thereby enhancing the resiliency of the community. The project would be funded by grants over a period of 5 years. Dr. Unger has proposed that Drayton Valley be one of the 4 communities in Canada, in addition to the 4 in sub-Sahara Africa, to be partners in the study. Dr. Unger has invited the town of Drayton Valley to provide a letter of intent to be a potential partner in this project. In addition to allowing Drayton Valley to be part of the study as a potential partner, Dr. Unger is asking that we agree to support the study by 1. Connecting his team with community partners who would be willing to be part of the study and provide access to youth for the study. 2. Engaging partners from the local business community who would be interested in learning how to supporting resilience among children and youth can help to support their ability to sustain human resources within their business. And 3. Sharing the results of the study when it is completed and to encourage families, communities, businesses, and governments to make changes necessary to promote positive child and youth development. 4, helping to build relationships with Alberta-based foundations who may be interested in factors that foster and sustain resilience. And 5, allocating financial and/or in-kind support for the project if possible. The letter of intent would be part of the first phase of his proposal and will not require any firm commitments at this time. Terms of this study would be negotiated if and when his proposal has graduated to the next phase of the application process. Drayton Valley and Brazeau County have chosen to use Dr. Unger's model for building a community of resilience in the foundation for the Social Development Plan and has integrated the approach into most of its goals, strategies, and actions. The knowledge we would gain from this study would provide even more opportunities to build on the strengths of the community and find solutions to challenges that remain. Therefore, I recommend that Council accept the invitation to be the potential partner in Dr. Unger's research and prepare the necessary letter of intent.
Thank you, Councillor Nato. Any discussion on this motion? Chandra? Oh, sorry. Could you, so I'd ask Councillor Nato if you could rephrase that.
That Council accept the invitation to be a potential partner in Dr. Unger's research and prepare the necessary letter of intent.
Yeah, that's your motion? Yeah, we got that. Okay, good. Thank you. Any discussion on this motion? Councillor Bossert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm very excited to see that Dr. Under is moving towards this research project and that he has selected us as one of his communities for interest in this project. And I'm hoping he's successful in the application process because our community would be, in no doubt, benefit from the research. And it's just a very interesting area to be studying. So I look forward to hearing how the next phase goes for his application process and support this letter of intent.
Thank you. In many ways, this research activity could be a living manifestation of the several of the goals that we've set out in our social development plan. So I too very much look forward to it. Anything further? Final comments? All right. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Councillor Long, item 8.8.
Thank you. Earlier this year, the town of Drayton Valley retained the services of EDOS Landscape Architects to present designs for 3 community parks. Those are Downtown Park, Rotary Park, and the old HW pickup grounds. EDOS conducted a number of public consultation meetings and later presented the proposed conceptual plans to a council meeting on January 28th this year. Further to that presentation, administration invited comments from the community on the conceptual plans using all of the town's media forums, including the town website, the newspaper, and social media. Additionally, the conceptual plans were posted in the town civic centre for several weeks for the public's viewing. All comments received by administration have been positive, showing support for the developments. Town Council has placed its priority on the old HW pickup grounds community open space for development, and it is this park's conceptual design that is being presented for approval. Administration and Council is working through the necessary agreements that need to be in place in order for this development to occur. In preparation for these agreements being finalised, administration is requesting that the conceptual plan for the old HW pickup grounds community open space be approved as designed. Therefore, I move that Town Council approve the conceptual design for the old HW pickup grounds community open space as presented.
Thank you, Councillor Long. Any discussion on this motion? Councillor Wheeler.
I just have a question actually on timeline in terms of if we approve this, when it starts moving forward, when can the public start looking for something to be happening, not necessarily the finishing? I know it'll be a process, but.
I think today, after council approved the agreement with the school board, now the school board will have to approve that agreement. When the agreement is signed, then I think we will be starting working on this. We are getting ready for the detailed design, and we are just going through the process whether we tender the whole thing or we do it in pieces. It looks like if this year, the best way will be if we just do the earthwork this year and the outdoor rink and leave it over winter, then do it next year because it will, the dirt will settle, and then plant the trees in the spring. That's one way, or if we had enough time, then we could still probably get to that this year yet. So everything is getting ready to go in, waiting for this agreement to be signed.
Essentially, as I understand it, Mr. Dial, the Wild Rose School Division will have its opportunity to review and hopefully approve the agreements that we have approved here today. They will be doing that at their next regularly scheduled meeting, is that correct?
Yes.
As we understand it. Okay. I see heads nodding, and that's always good. From there, we are in following some earlier discussions. I understand administration has done what it can without jumping the gun, but to be prepared to act as quickly as reasonably possible. For the number one, the development of the bus hub facility, and then from there the outdoor rink and so on, and the rest of the public space on the heels of that.
You're correct, but as every day is very precious right now, we still have to wait for school board to approve this agreement.
Mm-hmm.
That that is taking some more days, and if that's done sooner, I think we try to do the bus hub before September school opens, but it's getting pretty close. If we lose some time if there's rain or getting the contractors are organized. They are here. I think we are working towards end of August, but can't guarantee that.
So essentially, currently, we're as ready as we can be.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, any further discussion on this? Councillor Long?
Yeah, can I just clarify for the media and anyone who may be listening at home, and correct me if I'm wrong, we've talked a bit about the outdoor rink here, but the fundraising there is still very much ongoing.
Yes.
We are putting in some groundwork and getting things ready, but that project still needs public support, so I hope people realize that and will continue to support it.
Yeah, very good point. Anything further? No? This is a great opportunity to develop a meaningful public space, and I use the words public space deliberately, as council knows, rather than the word park, which I consider to be a confining descriptor of this space. We're all very hopeful that in the not-too-distant future, there will be a rejuvenated sector of our community. So, with that, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Item 8.9, Councillor Wheeler.
I move that council go in camera at 9:39 a.m.
We have Councillor Wheeler's motion. Any discussion on that motion to move in camera? No? All in favor? That is carried. We are in camera.
Council come out of in camera at 9:56 a.m.
Thank you. Any discussion on this? No, probably no discussion to be had. All in favor? That's carried. Councillor Wheeler.
Thank you. I move that council authorize administration to submit the Alberta Community Resilient Program Grant application as discussed in camera.
Thank you, Councillor Wheeler. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. I'm going to call the short break, 10 minutes, 10 minutes only. Item 9.0, information items. 9.1 is the May 2015 Waste Management Committee meeting minutes. 9.2 is the June 2015 Communities in Bloom Committee meeting minutes. Can I take a motion to accept those items as information? Councillor Schuler. Yeah, give me a sec. So Councillor Schuler has made a motion to receive those items as information. Were there any comments or questions associated with those information items? Councillor Wheeler. Ms.
you.
Surprise.
I was just wondering with the Waste Management Committee, they said this sale was scheduled for September 20th, and I'm just wondering if that is on schedule, and also the tire-derived aggregate, if we got it or not.
Pithy.
I don't have this information. We'll bring it to next GNP for you.
Any further comments or questions? All right. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Item 10.0, Department Reports, Planning and Development. Jen Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So in the last 3 weeks, I was away on holidays, but Martine had the floor for everything. She had issued around 6 permits, 2 signs, a detached garage, 2 landings, and a garage demolition. And there was also 4 new business licenses. Mainly they were out-of-town licenses, so people coming out of town to do work. Also, I have for you today, I have done up our planning and development report from January to the end of July. Christian, is there any way you can make it a little bit bigger? Sorry. I have also gave each council member a copy of the printout. So for the new housing starts, right now, as of the end of July 31st, we are currently sitting at 31 housing starts. 1 being a single-family dwelling, 3 being either a duplex, triplex, or fourplex, which ends up being about extra 8 housing starts. And then we had 1 condo building with 22 units. On the next page, it's not working here. Okay. Development permit values. I have done the comparison from the full years from 2008 to 2014 to the half year so far of 2015. As you can see for residential, for the full year, we are sitting at 14,028,854. Holidays, I can't remember my numbers apparently. So for 2015 half year, we're sitting at 5,403,900. Value of commercial development, 2014, we were sitting at 13 million. We're roughly around 10 million as of half year. Industrial, 17 million in 2014. Half year for 2015, 719,000. And the value of all development permits, 50 million from last year to right now, 16 million for half the year. On the next page, for the half year for 2008 and all the way to 2015 for every half year, you'll be able to see that we are kind of in comparison for earlier years. 2013 and 14 were of exceptions because it was a booming year for those two. The last slow period we had was 2008, which we are pretty much on par this year as we were with 2008 in, like I said, the last slow period. 2008, we had 5,745,000. We are currently sitting at 5,403,000. That was for residential. For commercial, in 2008, 7,861,000, and 2015, we're above in commercial. We're at 10 million. Value of industrial was at 450,000 in 2008, and we are currently sitting at 719,000. Value of all development permits in 2008 was 14 million, and we are currently sitting at 16 million now. So we are up a little bit compared to 2008. The year totals, this is for all half years from 2008 to 15 again. 2008, we had 115 permits, and as I had mentioned, at 14 million. And currently, right now, we're sitting at 83 permits at 16 million. And that concludes my presentation for council. If there's any questions.
Thank you very much, Jen. Councillor Bossert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When permits are issued, they have approximately a year to complete that project. So if a project is issued in November, it counts for that calendar year, even if it's completed in the following year, correct?
Anything further? No? Thanks very much for the presentation. All right, item 10.2, do we have anything for engineering and transportation, Mr. Dial?
Mr. Mayor, the engineer, town engineer is on holidays. Community services person, Annette is in Australia. And Tom Thompson, our fire chief, is on holidays. And Nathan Nadeau is on holidays. So you're going to only get the report from me today.
So why don't we jump right into, well, hold
Unless
on.
you have any questions for other people, if I can answer, I will. Otherwise, we'll.
No, this is really an opportunity for, well, for council to ask pointed questions if any arise, or for administration to share with us the current status of major projects in their department. So you have, nobody's left you with anything to highlight for us. Is that correct?
Well, this application you approved today, was
A fairly major initiative.
initiative which was we were doing, and I think that was the main thing in 43rd Avenue, and so I think council has dealt with them.
Okay, very good. So we'll get into the administration items, 10.5. Oh, I'm sorry. Councillor Bossert had a question.
Thank you, Manny. Manny, the question. 43rd and Beckett, we've been told for several weeks now it'll be done by the end of that week. And I happened to drive there this weekend just to check it out, and it's still not connected. Do you have any firm date as to when that connection will be opened?
Well, like I mentioned this morning, I can't give you any firm date, but Border Paving is in town. They were waiting for the paving company to arrive, so you're going to see a lot of action in next 3-4 weeks. And they're going to do the whole 50th to the south, where from, I think, about 34th Avenue, from the top of the hill down. And the CETC road will be built. The black dirt is being hauled along the pond in CETC. Next 4 weeks, if it didn't rain, will be a lot of action. And that's what it's held for. I went by this road, Beckett Road too, and I see that this has been the longest road, the shortest one, in the longest time we have ever done. So I think it will be done within the next 4 weeks. You'll see a lot of progress in all projects.
Anything further for Mr. Deal? That particular one is something I have the opportunity to observe on a daily basis. It might be useful for us to put on our social media some kind of public information that where barricades are erected, they're there for a reason. They're to maintain the integrity of the subsurface of the road prior to paving. They are not there for people on quads or four-wheel drives to jump the sidewalk and do donuts, because what that involves is further expenditure of public money to bring the road back to where it was so that it's ready for paving. It's a frustration to watch people flout the very obvious direction from the erection of barricades, but in any event, I guess I've said my piece. So, Mr. Deal was going to, prior to you giving your CAO report, how about I'll ask Chandra whether she has anything for legislative services?
Just to quickly remind everyone that I am in the process of trying to receive comments for the community standards bylaw. So far, I've received one. So participation is encouraged, and I'd love to hear from people and what they think about that bylaw. So
Right.
please, if people are asking council or anybody, they can contact me for a copy. It's on our website. There's the highlight sheet. So anybody who's interested in having a look at that, please do, and give me some feedback.
So, thank you.
And I think Jen actually had something about communications. So.
Yes, she does. So, over to you, Jen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, Council. I have a very short report this morning. First of all, our app, we're at 816 downloads. That's up 11 from last week. And our statistics are showing us that we have 94% of those people updating to our 2.0 version, which includes Report a Problem and the business directory, so that's good to see. For the website, we are, of course, making changes as they come up to make sure it's all current and updated. I am working with our web developer to make sure that on the mobile devices, so your iPads, your iPhones, you are able to view it properly. And as of course you all know, the budget discussions are starting, and administration and the new communications and marketing coordinator are working on a strategy to engage the public and get some feedback on that. We're creating some marketing material to go along with that. And that's my report.
Thank you very much. All right, now Mr. Diol.
Yes, there is few companies, few projects we're dealing with regarding the waste we have, the solid waste and the warehouser waste. And we have met with one company, and I think Councillor Long and Councillor Bossett was there. That was last week, but there's a couple more meetings coming up for new other technologies. I wouldn't name them because it's confidential, but there is some work going on regarding our grant for the solid waste and also for the waste, the warehouser, Valley Power, all that projects are on the go, and I can fill you in later about the details. Norquest agreement is coming in its final stages. Hopefully we will have a lease signed within the next 2 weeks and for the building. And joint venture agreement is already signed, but the detailed work is to the point of how we open, who do we invite, those kind of things, and I'll be bringing that information to you. But there was a lot of involved how we're going to do the workings of between Norquest and the town. I think the goal is that when you go to the center, you don't see any difference who is there. You just get the service, whether you're going for credit courses, non-credit courses, you want to book a conference or wedding, or so it will be a seamless operation, like Star Alliances. Take you from here to there, it doesn't matter which airline you go by. So that's the kind of thing we're working on. Once the details are solved, I think there will be a ad going for a managing director for the CETC, and that job description is being worked on. And so that's the progress there. We have Synergy Group in town, and we're working with them to kind of join forces. So we have one group looking at the clean energy technologies with the oil and gas companies. There is a lot of interest from oil companies. They want to come and give their input into designing programs and things like that. So I think there's a lot of people waiting, for to kind of get engaged in this project. And water plant, we have I want to take council for a tour. It's just to its final stages. They'll be producing water pretty soon. So they're doing the final touches and testing. Once it's cleaned up, I'll invite council to have a look at it. It'd be nice for you to see the new fiber, the membranes we got, and see how the water is going to come out. It's a beautiful building. And not only it's going to be a water plant, but we're working on making it a water intelligence center. So there will be some sensors developed in the river about what's coming in. So we will know what's coming in. Like today, there's a lot of herbicides and pharmaceuticals that are coming in the water, and so design will be done here, the sensors, and then there'll be another software which will say how to clean the water, so how much chemicals we put in, not manually, but it will be machine driven. So those two projects will be done here. Our partners are there's two partners at this time into this and putting in initial seed money, and we're going to go for the grant from Alberta Innovates. We might have a partnership in Netherlands with the Lee Warden Institute. They are the biggest in, one of the biggest in water technology. So I think this center, this water plant will become a research and development place. Also, we'll be bringing water and sewer operators to be trained there. So that's what the project is. If everything goes right, like this center will be used for educational purposes to our schools too. So that's where a lot of work is going on. Airport, part of the CETC is Fire Training Institute. Northwest College now teaches fire courses, and they will be working with our fire department, and fire department has also started working on the details of that, and so we are working that as a part of the CETC, and we're doing, I'll be bringing you the RFP before it's sent out for airport, because that council talked about before. So. And there is some land deals going on. It's still in the legal hands. The couple of lands we are looking at right now. And one along 50th Street is not completed. Otherwise, that service road would have been built this year. It's just that close. And if we could even still get okay, we will be still building that road this year. But somewhere it's held up. We haven't got the title yet for the land. And the last thing, I guess I want to talk about the budget. We are working at administrative budget. We hopefully will be done by end of August. And then so we bring it to council so we get the budget process started. So that's my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions, comments for Mr. Dio? All right. Thank you. Council reports. Councillor Schuler.
Thank you. Being summertime, things have slowed off dramatically, and with my regular daytime job and how busy I've been there, there's only a couple things I want to touch on. One, the CETC on July 24th. As Mr. Diol had indicated, there's lots of interesting and exciting things coming forward with the CETC, including the building. We've taken a number of dignitaries on a tour of the facility, and everyone seems to be duly impressed with it. It's coming along and will complete, I think, fairly close to being on schedule. It should be the end of September, beginning of October, somewhere in there. So things are coming along that way. Again, we've got some very interesting projects that are being looked at, and we're getting a lot more interest, I think, from outside agencies now that we actually have a building and have a tenant for that building and a partnership that is going forward. The other one I want to just touch really briefly on was July 30th with the Brazeau Seniors Foundation. And things are coming along quite nicely there. The renovations have all been completed. The roof has been redone, one wing completely rebuilt, and we're finding suitable applicants to put in there, as they were designed more for those that have a challenge, physical challenge of some type. So we're trying not to, everyone wants to move into those, and we're being a little more selective on who's moving in there. So things will be full probably very quickly here. We do still have a bit of a waiting list for people to get in, but people don't seem to want to move in the summer. So we've had people on the list that we've offered rooms to, and they said, yes, I want it, but not yet. So generally we see come September, people then want to move into those. So we'll fill up that very quickly. The one thing I just want to bring to council's attention is Brazeau Seniors has for quite a number of years indicated that parking is an issue, and they will be bringing forward some plans for parking, which will require some of the town land. So there will be I guess a request coming to administration first, and that had been discussed previously. And in addition, ARC Resources had indicated previously that they would be interested in helping develop the area, which would be directly north of the proposed parking, into a more park-like setting, and which may help them, as there seems to be an issue where certain individuals seem to be using it as a meeting place, and it's causing an issue with some of the traffic and the way people are driving. So we'll hopefully, when things get completed, it'll help to alleviate some of that. But other than that, everything is going along very well with Brazeau Seniors. We have been moved from the North District to Central. There has been a realignment, and we are now part of the Central District, and we're finding there's quite a difference in the organizations that are involved in each, and the North was a lot more active and a lot more vocal, where the Central District is actually pretty tame and quiet, and we're starting to shake that up a little bit. So, which is a good thing, because it gets the views to the government, and we need to have that input. So, other than that, I think that is my report.
Thank you very much. Councillor Wheeler.
Thank you. I was away most of July, so I only had a few meetings with the Internet of Things, and we're just slowly progressing forward, bringing more people on the team to figure out what's going to be happening. So not a lot of progress, more planning still at this phase. Yeah, well, that's my report.
Thank you. Councillor Bossert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On July 20th, I attended a Healthy Communities Coalition meeting, which was the first time I had attended. I'm attending in place for Councillor Frederickson. And we have been starting to make plans for a mental health in the workplace workshop. So that should be coming up sometime this fall. And we're also working on a mental health community training subcommittee. So a committee within the Healthy Communities Coalition that structures lays out some of the training opportunities for mental health in our community. And of course, we also talked about the opportunity to work with Dr. Unger as a pilot for his research that council has just agreed to do a letter of intent for. So it was very interesting to attend that meeting. As I said, it was my first, and it's really encouraging to see a group of service providers coming together, working on strategies for a healthy community. On July 20th, along with a couple other councillors, we were able to sit down with 2 local developers in our community and talk about some of their concerns as developers and builders in our community. And they came up with some very unique and interesting ideas for strategies moving forward. And I really appreciated the opportunity to speak with these gentlemen, see the developer side of process when it comes to creating new developments in our community, and looking for opportunities that are win-wins for both the community and for the developers themselves. On July 21st, we had our community, or our strategy planning meeting with council, and had 2 helpers with us that day. And we just went through some very key issues as far as strategies for communication for the town of Drayton Valley, and I just found it a good day to work through some issues that I think council has been wanting to address for some time, and we had the coordinators there that day that could help us work through some of those issues. So I found it a very, very useful exercise. On July 24th, on behalf of the Land Waste Management Committee, I attended a Clean Energy and Technology Committee meeting to discuss how the 2 committees can work together with some other groups in the community that are coming with proposals to set up some programs here in the community. So that also was interesting to me, as I haven't been overly involved with the Clean Energy and Technology Committee, and it's got many, many initiatives going forward. So again, I have been very excited about our bio industry in the community for these many past years, 4 or 5 years, and it's going strong. So I was very encouraged by that. On July 27th, I attended a Homeless for a Night planning committee. The poverty and homelessness team are planning to have what's called Homeless for a Night evening, where members of the community, particularly youth, can experience what it's actually like to not have a home in the early parts of winter, and what it's like to endure an evening without a proper shelter overhead. So we're starting to plan that. We think it'll be very early October. But dates and location haven't quite been confirmed yet. But stay tuned. It will be a very interesting experiment in our community. Also on the 27th of July, I met with some of the clean energy and technology players in the community, players that are interested in working again with the Clean Energy Center, and we have to work very closely with some of these partners to move our projects ahead. And aside from that, I think that is everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Nadeau.
Thank you, Mayor. In addition to some of the other meetings, obviously our regular GMP and council meetings, I also attended the developer meeting, and I echo the comments by Councillor Bossert. Councillor Long and myself have, as stated earlier, been a part of the brand review through our Economic Development Committee. And we look forward to our new Economic Development Officer, who will be coming on board in short order, so we're very excited about that. Finally moving forward again. I've also been a part of, through the previous Women in Government Protégé program, revamping that with the work of the mayor and our sustainability coordinator, and more of a youth focused in general. So we're going to be having those discussions later at GMP, I believe. So we'll bring that forward. And then I just wanted to comment on our Communities in Plume sponsored event that we're having on August 27th. Just a reminder, we are having the Footloose movie down at Omni 2 inside. We'll have the movie inside. ConocoPhillips is sponsoring that event, is the lead sponsor on that event, so it is a completely free barbecue for the community. So please, everybody, come out. We have a lot of hot dogs ordered, and we're a little stressed about it. So come out. It's free. There will be free popcorn, free beverages, and bring your picnic blankets for the movie. There'll be some live entertainment, and there'll be some minute-to-win-it games, and I know our reigning council champion, Farrell, will be obliged to help. And most of council, I believe, will be there that evening. The barbecue starts at 6 o'clock, the movie starts at 7. And we just got confirmation that the 102.3 Now Radio Truxicle will be coming out that night too. So, Truxicle. They come out and bring out popsicles for free. So yeah, the Truxicle will be coming out to that event that evening as well. So we look forward to everybody coming. Again, free event, Omni 2, August 27th, starts at 6 p.m. And everybody come out and just have a great time, family entertainment.
Thank you very much. Councillor Long.
Thank you. As with everybody else, it's been a pretty quiet few weeks, which has been rather nice, actually. Just to run through very briefly, I don't think anything that hasn't really been already covered, but I was also at the meeting with developers and interested to see what comes out of that. Later the same day, as Nicole said, we went over the RFPs for the branding, and I think we've chosen the right one. There was a couple of good ones to choose from, but I look forward to that process. Strategic planning on the 21st, and the CETC meeting on the 24th. And that's essentially been it. Just to pick up on something Councillor Schuler mentioned, outside of my roles on council, I've spent a fair bit of time in the lodge in the last few weeks, helping a family friend, including moving her downstairs into the new accommodation. She's very happy to be there, and what a nice atmosphere in that place. It's not somewhere I spent a lot of time over the years, but it's a great place to be. I look forward to moving in a few years. So I'll leave it there.
That's advance notice for everyone at the lodge. Thank you. For my part, since the last council meeting, it has been a little slower in terms of formal meetings and such. Been lots of work to do here in the office. The strategic planning session on the 21st was I found very useful, and I appreciate council's fulsome participation during the course of that day. Which I think we will find very helpful in setting our course as we go forward. As was alluded to earlier, the CETC committee meeting, I don't have the date here, but receiving updates on that, and I gather updates for the CETC committee will be on a weekly basis. From this point on, as there is much that is happening, and so the committee, of course, will in turn update council as appropriate. In addition to planning some other exciting community events, such as the Mayor's Gala in September, the prayer breakfast scheduled for October. There's I think I'll leave it there. Not much further to report. So, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Councillor Bossert. I'm going to go Bossert. Yeah. All in favor? That's carried. Thanks.